Good afternoon on what is a cool, bright, and sunny day. It is Sunday, October the 27th, and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. Get a knife on it. Go. Then what I'm going to pull out is a copy of The President's Children 50 Years of Political Leadership by Iain. And on the back, you can see this list of presidents that it is discussing. Essentially, it's a series of essays about commentators talking about the highs and lows and the political mores of the individual presidents, from George Washington there all the way down to Joe Biden. So, the presidency has made every man who occupied it, no matter how small, bigger than he was, and no matter how big, not big enough for its demands. Lyndon B. Johnson. For much of its history, the US presidency has been more recognized than any other political office in the world. In 2021, both the image and the authority of the US head of state is under great scrutiny. But this international fascination with the role and the office of the US president is nothing new. In fact, it reaches almost all the way back to the birth of the United States itself. The President's, edited by Iain, features essays written by a range of academics, historians, political journalists, and serving politicians on every American president who has held office over the last 250 years, from George Washington to Joe Biden. Each contributor has been carefully chosen based on expert knowledge of their subject and personal connections, providing analysis of their successes, failures, and influence. This collection of essays is intended to be a celebration of the office of the presidency, as well as a book which exposes sometimes turbulent domestic path to global prominence the US has taken. The Rise of the Presidents, in many ways, tells the story of America, and as such, across these 46 chapters, essayists will shed light on how both the presidency and the United States got here and where they will be going. So my interest in this book, in part, was brought about by two things. The first, of course, is the author. I've got a copy of it. Some of his other books. The Prime Minister does the same for UK Prime Ministers, all the way up to Liz Truss and Boris Johnson and so on. Whereas, he's also written on kings and queens and others. So, and then we have a range of quotes about the presidency. Contents page, of course, children, basically 250 pages, 250 years, well, actually 500 pages, I should say, 46 different presidents, and beginning with an introduction by essentially the editor of the collection, and we have a general discussion of the office itself and how it's developed. How it has expanded and so on. All the way through to essentially the question of not whether it is arising anew as of 2021 and sort of like the turbulent years of the post-Trump period. So we start off with George Washington. We have an illustration and particular dates for him. So essentially, when he was in office, particular stats. So this includes full name, born, died, resting place, library, museum, education, married to, and so on, and notable quotations for delving into the essay itself and coming up to date with Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and the current incumbent, Joe Biden, who is at least smiling, I have to say. So we come on to then essentially last we got the end. So, of course, the section on Biden is very short because obviously he had only been in office by a year or so by the time this book came out. Then it's got a section on ranking the presidents, the promise and limitations of presidential ratings. And it's interesting, sort of like, whenever you kind of get a new president, when there's an important date, sort of like all the historical experts come out and say and rank the presidents, obviously, rating here, for example, we have Lincoln at the top. At the bottom, we have Buchanan. And if you're wondering, Trump comes in at 34th on the list. So he's not the worst president by that ranking. Others may well disagree. But I mean, there have been multiple sort of like rankings by, again, elsewhere, and again, this one ranks Trump low, but not as low as Buchanan. So Buchanan's almost a president I know nothing about, so that'll be interesting to read about. And then we have the acknowledgements and the index brings the book to a close. Of course, with basically the editor's blurb at the end. This then, essentially, the other reason why I'm interested in this, because obviously it's 2024, and as I'm sat here in 2 weeks or so, 10 days, the American electorate goes to the polls, and we will have a new president. So yes, got engaged with a whole lot of it. It's essentially talking about it with my American friends, talking about it, in general, and listening to a lot of podcasts and commentators and so on. And probably delving into it a bit too more deeply than I necessarily do English politics, basically because it's different and more exciting in some ways. But there we go. That is The Presidents, 250 Years of Political Leadership, edited by Iain Dale. And basically, it's one of those things that's going to give you a nice introduction to the presidents of the past, whom you probably won't know as much about. Certainly, here in the UK, unless you're really sort of like two things, and have an abiding history of American history, and also the presidency. So yeah, there is that. Anyway, that's The Presidents by Iain Dale. Do hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you want to, if you've got any feedback to make, then appreciate you taking the time to do so. And lastly, if you want to be able to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game, or in this case, a history book about the presidents, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.